This is ASK Morgan Sports. You can watch us on YouTube and also on TikTok. This afternoon, we are here to bring you all the best of analysis in your world of sports. We have a lot of trending issues, Real Madrid transfer issues. Real Madrid are currently pushing for the signature of Diomande from RB Leipzig. We understand that PSG has not yet sent their bid of 120 million euros to RB Leipzig yet, and that gives a lifeline to Real Madrid. We understand that Jose Mourinho has specifically requested for more pace in his team. There's also a story relating to Vinicius Jr. leaving Real Madrid, the possibility of Vinicius Jr. leaving Real Madrid. We would explore all of that here. Chelsea has gone to Australia. I have the full squad list here, the players who are in the traveling squad. We will discuss that with you. Manchester United beat Rosenborg 5-0 yesterday. We have more details on that particular game. But let me start with Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola has rejected the Italian national team. Wakache, Italian national team mpanyinfo no ze Leonardo ene Paolo Maldini ekokushiano. Italian Federation no mo FA president a ne din ede Malago ono nso so abekeka ho nsem say na Italian Federation no ma ready so mbey a concession for in terms of financial concession that the ama papa ne din Pep Guardiola threshold are now munye ready so mbey reaching financially because of Pep Guardiola. They are willing to make all of these concessions. I mentioned to you earlier that Pep is not likely to go to Italy before he even had rejected them. They say Andre Pello has agreed to take up the job in Pello ne kwakwaye man. However, on Pep, I want us to have a conversation about Pep on why Pep would never accept the Italian national team, regardless of what happens. He will never accept the Italian national team. Do you know why? First, on the pitch, number one, Pep is somebody who needs a lot of three things to succeed. So he needs flamboyant centre backs who are able to pass the ball from the back, who are able to play well. Pep also needs he also needs fullbacks. He needs fullbacks who play very, very well. And then he also needs midfielders, very good midfielders who can play in between the lines, who can push forward, create space, press, organize pressing, and also keep the ball when his team has the ball, break enemy lines and all of that. So that kind of versatility, I looked into the Italian national team and I was struggling to find such players who will fit Pep Guardiola's system. For example, Pep Guardiola, if he's building his team, he will need a ball-playing goalkeeper. Gianluigi Donnarumma, as we have now, is not a ball-playing goalkeeper. The reason why Pep could sign him was because in his current Manchester City, he had built the team to a certain level that he could afford a goalkeeper who doesn't play the ball. That one is okay. But when he's starting to build a team, to start with a goalkeeper who doesn't play the ball is something that Pep will not do. So it will become difficult from there. Now, when you come to his centre backs, he could have Riccardo Calafiori, Alessandro Bastoni. These are very good ball-playing centre-backs, but both of them are left-footed centre-backs. So how would he even set up his team? Calafiori will play on the left full-back position. Then he will play Bastoni in left centre-back. What about the other positions? How is he going to set up his defense? And for me, that is very, very important. Mind you, national teams cannot purchase players. National team no transfer window top players. So if he wants to build a squad for himself, he would have to build the players through the academy system. He would have to build the players through the academy system, go down and train youth players who can adapt his style. He would have to change the entire Italian Football Federation, technical directors, coaching instructors, all of those people, to make sure that anybody who's teaching or training kids would have a touch of the Pep Guardiola ideology, so that the players that they are going to produce in the next generation are going to be players that will suit Pep Guardiola's style. And for me, that's a very long time. Pep cannot come into national team football and spend 10 years molding a team he wants to work with. That's not how Pep works. So he would be interested in a place that he can have the materials he needs to operate, and that's why my second point comes in. If there is any national team Pep is likely to do, apart from his own Spanish national team, he would be interested in the English job. England, that is the God honest truth, because the materials are there. The materials are there. Now, England for Nangaza Krenya, Omodi Diomande Pep Guardiola. But the problem is that they are not sure whether Pep Guardiola wants to work or not. That is the most important thing. Whether Pep Guardiola wants to work or not. That's why. Because Pep Siwa Bro Kwakwa Home, and nobody is certain whether he will take a job now or not. So the moment they do away with Thomas Tuchel and then Pep Guardiola is unavailable, that will be a loss for them, because when you look at it critically, if Pep is the best out there, without Pep, Thomas Tuchel is your best option. When you let Thomas Tuchel go and then Pep is not available, you will definitely pick somebody who is lesser than Thomas Tuchel, and they want to do anything possible to avert this occurrence, and so they are sticking to Thomas Tuchel for now. But let me take you through reasons why I think the British people do not like Thomas Tuchel. The British people do not like Thomas Tuchel. They cannot like Thomas Tuchel. You understand? So first of all, Thomas Tuchel is a German. And you know there's a long-standing rivalry between the Germans and then the British people. During the World War II, when Adolf Hitler wanted to expand his Germany, it was the British people who stood against him. So the war was fought proper between Germany and then England. That is the fact, that the war was fought between Germany and then England. The main reasons why the English people would always hate the German people is the nature in which the war occurred. For example, at the time, the British king was King Edward VIII. King Edward VIII had a woman he wanted to marry, Wallis Simpson, and Wallis Simpson was a sympathizer of Adolf Hitler's Nazi party. She's originally an American woman, but it is believed that she was a sympathizer of the Nazi party, and so because of that, the British people forced the king to leave this woman, because the woman was a divorcee. Like 2 times she had been divorced 2 times, and those times the laws prevented the British monarch from marrying someone who was a divorcee at the time, especially when the ex-husbands were alive. There were even conspiracy theories that one of them had not ended the marriage with her fully before she started engaging with King Edward VIII. And so it's got to a point King Edward had to choose between being with the woman and having the throne. And guess what? He chose the woman. Chairman left the throne saying they go follow woman. Yes, so, and because of that, but certainly immediately he was abdicated. He went to a while, and then he visited Germany, went to Adolf Hitler, met Adolf Hitler face to face with his Madame Wallis, both of them. And so it became a serious problem. There were MI6 at a point even intercepted messages that Adolf Hitler was planning on abducting the new British king. So when King Edward VIII was abdicated, his brother, King George VI, came into the throne. And guess what? King George VI is the father of Queen Elizabeth. So if King Edward had not abdicated the throne for this woman, Queen Elizabeth would never have been queen anyway. But let us continue. Adolf Hitler tried to abdicate, yes, King George VI and reinstate King Edward VIII, and that mission failed. So because of that, like, the British people have some enormous hatred towards the German people, that in all of the warfare, there's been serious attempts to destroy us, to destroy our heritage, to destroy our custom, infiltrate our tradition, our monarchy. And you know how the British people hold in high esteem the British monarchy. You understand? And so it wasn't something they could negotiate with. And so They hate the German people to the bone. Look, we saw a period where there was something that we call the appeasement. So when Germany says that they want this piece of land, then at that time the Prime Minister of UK will just, yes, give him the permission to go and take it. Okay, so I want, let's say, Czechoslovakia. Then he will say, okay, go and take it. I want Austria. The Austrians are native Germans. Then he will say, okay, you can take it, but don't take anything again. Before he realized, Hitler had invaded Belgium, he had invaded Netherlands, he had taken over France and all of that. Then Chamberlain would be like, let that be the last, don't take any other space again. Before he would realize he had invaded Norway. After he invaded Norway, Chamberlain came to UK, promised the UK people that Hitler will never invade Norway. Then Hitler invaded Norway. Then Parliament initiated vote of no confidence in Chamberlain. Then when he passed on the 8th. They started on the 7th, but then he passed on the 8th. He survived on the 8th. But then, he said that because of the divisions in Parliament, he cannot lead effectively. So he needs to bring somebody who would lead effectively. Then he resigned, and then on the 10th, he recommended Winston Churchill, because Winston Churchill had criticized his method. Winston Churchill said the way he's treating Hitler will never stop invading other countries. And so Winston Churchill took over, and then he started fighting the war head on with Adolf Hitler. And that created a huge enmity between the German people and then the British people. We have records that show that the German Air Force, they call them the Luftwaffe, yes, they dropped missiles in UK. So when you go to Old Trafford, Manchester United, when you go to Old Trafford, you see that where the dugout is, there are old bricks, some very old bricks over there. Yes, those old bricks are the remains of Old Trafford that was destroyed in those bombings. So those times in London, in Manchester, in some of those cities, you will be there and then bombs will just be dropping anywhere. So Old Trafford collapsed, and it was just left with some few bricks. You see, the British people are very sentimental people. So that is why when you go to Old Trafford now, they've left those old bricks to be a testament of their own resilience, their survival instincts, their ability to survive, to remind everybody that when the entire system came down, when there was war up and down everywhere, and then people were dying, and then the whole place crashed down, these bricks took firm, and that is why we, the British people, have survived. And so Manchester United has kept this what's the name, bricks intact, just to tell that particular story. In fact, Highbury, former Arsenal grounds too, also collapsed at the time, and then they had to bring it back again. Yes, the olden Millwall Stadium, yes, it also collapsed and all of that. A lot of sporting facilities were affected by the war, and so it does not make any sense for the British people to flirt with the German people. That is the God honest truth. We have Brits who are angry to see Thomas Tuchel on the dugout every single day. And so they accused him of a lot of things in this World Cup. Say, every time England ever ball Thomas Tuchel into national anthem nibi. Meaning say we all see it. England ever ball no more to anthem now. Thomas Tuchel into anthem nibi. Yes. Yes. We could also say he's a German, so he won't sing it. But the point is that the British people are complaining about it. So what there's almost complaining is that Germany in anthem no on to be. So there's a more political dimension to this issue more than anything. After World War II, no Germany lose or muye Nazi, the Germany phobic Argentina. The Germany phobic Argentina. And at the time England lose match against Argentina, no like Brits for no England for no there. England for fans binum cross sign be case say Thomas Tuchel nanom kotna Argentina no madane Argentina for Thomas Tuchel, yes tactics, poor tactics, no share that more lose game, no. Yes, all of these things. It is normal. I understand if the British people don't like Thomas Tuchel, it makes sense. But the whole point is that Pep Guardiola is when he and you know, in the coming days, I would want to see how the conversation would go. How our British people would meet Pep Guardiola halfway the line, because when they have the squad to make it happen. Because then they Pep Guardiola buy England no waboa, and my teams need produce like technically gifted players. Look at Elliot Anderson, look at Cole Palmer, look at Phil Foden. Like these are technically gifted players. Are Pep bit media completing a team. Morgan Rogers, such players, Bukayo Saka, would give you that absolute quality that Pep needs to set up his team. And in the coming days, we live to see how things would go for Thomas Tuchel, for Pep Guardiola, and also for the English national team. But as for the Italian national team, it has never been in consideration. He would never have gone to the Italian national team because players no penunya. Now, we are Pep or no we are Pep a coaching team quality nimda. He needs a certain level of quality to manifest his tactics, and it is a who needs our quality in our banner. In fact, he will not do the job for you. Enra, Manchester United and Rosenborg at the boy match in a banner and Manchester United at Rosenborg 5-0. Now, Manchester United fans now started Joshua Zexi for Ballon d'Or. But yesterday, Joshua Zexi was phenomenal. Enra was setting Lacy up in a nice assist. We and go now. Joshua Zexi, absolute fantastic goal. Now one was there for some time now. I've heard about 4 Manchester United players granting interviews or granting interviews. There were those interviews Mubisao, who's the fastest, who's the strongest, who's the most difficult to beat, who knows how to keep the ball, who shoots better, who has better accuracy, best passer, like most friendly. Like this, there are interviews players Nabana Yabisa Omo in the team, no, saying like which players are the best in these areas. There's been more than 4 Manchester United players almost say Joshua Zexi is the most skillful player in Manchester United. Yes. Bare 4 Manchester United players are granting interviews or confirm say Joshua Zexi is the most skillful player in Manchester United. And yesterday he gave us glimpses of why people said he's the most skillful player. Amarin Visa Branteway signed for Manchester United. The first thing Okai Mbizan said, "We position and Kasa ye ding." Or say, "Oh no, the position near 9.5, on your 10, on your 9." But he's in between 9 and 10. And yesterday he delivered absolutely. Yesterday was your Diomande come go no share you know said the onyaboche yi defender ne free mu sign shaky goalkeeper na the goalkeeper no to baby and if you pin ball na the shame. And the season appears to be very promising for him if say otimi ball no more no keep ne form ne intact say. But there's also something that I'm gathering say players need be wo honoma Michael Carrick bomb no or said that bomb more preseason no mama or me attract office aba said the bear or mobit me at home when Zexi is one of such players or mano opportunities baby say or more now on to mean turn to be check here Manchester United or under 18 captain your friend Jim Tweets or Moby preseason 2 games ningina or Moby Jimmy Murphy player of the year Manchester United best young academy player your friend JJ Gabriel 16 years no wedi or more preseason match maybe. But the kind of players are consistently Michael Carrick do or more born. It gives me the impression that or per se there are 2 fools on cry or per se or do or more red team no more proper. And a binom so or per se or ton more. And Timahuze dan go nyabo ni bibo. Ethan Williams nyabo ni bibo. I feel all of these guys they would be sold. I was all more quite be no more job more quite. Mahuze Toby Collier, Enyabo ni bimbo more. And interestingly, Tyler Fletcher Nyabo ni bimbo. You know, I have a wonderful story about Tyler Fletcher, how he got into the World Cup as a young player 19 years or can Scotland team no who call World Cup no. Last season, only academy player Carrick man more minutes power Manchester United. Pre-season no, on shada nya bi more kesesa. Waboka card but not as compared to Toby Collier, not as compared to Dan Gormo, any bono. So my understanding is that all my players be no more kwenya no wetimi atonwomo. And runs also Harry Amas. And runs also Harry Amas go as an provide assist and so Chido B Martins was sharp. Now there's one thing we noticed yesterday in Michael Carrick in the setup no. Say apart from the counter-attacking play, no, there's a way the team plays with fluidity or mutimi creative spaces. A bubble on the free chamber. And I want to see because Manchester United over the seasons, no, you know, share big teams that because of the counter-attacking play, no, mutimi bo at the core, or mutimi bo at the core. But almost share teams are teams in city deep, no, you are no more bread. They are unable to open a play and then cut them open. But Enra patterns of play. Then the second thing I noticed was that by the time Harry Amas the goal, no, now there were 7 Manchester United players that were Rosenborg 18 no. 7 Manchester United players nana were Rosenborg attacking area no. So what is here? And interestingly, both fullbacks of Manchester United were inside the box of Rosenborg. And Jaden Camerson. Also right back. He's an academy player, 19-year-old player. Or running into the box or assist 2 times a game. No. But tactically, what I want us to pick is that when Manchester United is attacking, 2 fullbacks are inside the 18 box. Branty and Idindi Harry Amas. Second half, no 18 box constantly. And Jaden Camerson and so far ball no right side no running until you pull out me made the 2 goals by yes as a young man with team register 2 assists in his name. I want to see how Michael Carrick shapes up his team because the way he's playing, that's a 2 attacking fullbacks in our Manchester United 18 box number. I want to also know how United will defend against counter attacks because if you are playing like this, it means that you have only three players to organize yourself at the back with a lot of space between them and their pool. And so how do you organize yourself very well when you lose the ball immediately? I would want to see how Michael Carrick will deal with that in the coming days. Chelsea. Players at Chelsea, Eddie Kwako Piemu, Australia, no, Ababe Kayan Sawaha. Na, before say about Chelsea, no, it's official, confirmed. Yedi can't confirm that say Marcus Rashford is staying at Manchester United. Na, Enra, Amazon, for a documentary be on Manchester United. Manchester United on the world documentary. And I'm inviting Marcus Rashford say in fact Manchester United in paying for and recommend man Amazon for this on Marcus Rashford in getting Emra. The signal I'm picking from this gesture is that they resolved all issues. I do not think at this point Manchester United in paying for Marcus Rashford with any outstanding issue. They've resolved all issues and then both parties are moving on. So at this point it is confirmed next season Rashford or Manchester United, and it is clear that there is no malice between them. There's peace, everything is flowing, and then they are cool. I see how his season will go for Manchester United as well. But Yame Adoma by next weekend, no, Manchester United for no pre-season no Yame Adoma I feel no more matches. Winning Atletico Madrid next weekend, and for me that should be the biggest. That should be the biggest game for Manchester United as far as this preseason is concerned. Said you almost starting no. So Makwakabo Wrexham no mabo Rosenborg. We know the teams are yengi say more hakakra. And interfina Makwakabo Atletico de Madrid. Omuri Paris Saint-Germain. No Makwakabo Leeds United. On the Leeds United no. At the time at United told Dan James Eddie Free Omohono. It was part of the agreement. Say Omebo preseason game, friendly game. At the Kenya rivalry no. In another time, you explain the red rose and the white rose, and then the derby, the rivalry between Leeds United and Manchester United. And the reason why sa derby no and as our rivalry na kwada because Leeds United more above from no, but another time. Then they will finish the preseason with AC Milan, Atletico Calcio Milan, and so Honum. Then on the 22nd of August, they'll start the league with Team Anidi and so Eddie Hull City and so yeah. Chelsea akwa kopiemu ewo Australia. Na nyame pa Tuesday omone Western Sydney edebebo ani. Omuria omone Tottenham Hotspur so edebebo ani on Saturday. Before so omaba ene Milan ababebo. Omone Milan bowia ombebo Johor Darul Tazium. Na this particular team way omo Malaysia na Chelsea any omo kwakobo friendly match before say season no ebe start Johor Darul Tazim enso so ho no ma Real Sociedad omo we on 24th Monday night London derby omo ne Fulham and they started Premier League no na Chelsea ekopie mu Australia no players are Chelsea etumi edekopie mu Australia no yanya full list no ewa ha yemfa ni nyina emfa endam goalkeepers omuko ye ne Philip Jorgensen ewo ho Robert Sanchez ekobi Ted Kett enso so kobi Teddy Shamanlow goalkeeper me penasempa Teddy Shamanlow I really like him yes enso so so it means Chelsea will be 3 senior goalkeepers are ode omakwa kopie mu ho no yeah or be 3 senior goalkeepers ho oba defenders na ye wo Joshua Champon Tosina Darabioyo Aaron Anselmino unzo no Cologne I think Borussia Dortmund and we return back to preseason Xabi Alonso say or the preseason no measure na hwe say yemma na kwanya wo season no mo proper na say abrante ene ntumi enya no kwan enso so ho Levi Colwell enso so aba Calvin Diakite enso so ho London Eminalo on say Chelsea omo former director Matthew Eminalo ne ba ene London Eminalo enso so ho and na in game omo boy first preseason game omo boy omo win 3-0 no yes abrante ene gina ekire ho e de boa Chelsea enso so ho Wesley Fofana Joel Hato Marco Palestra on the Marco Palestra left wing back player at Chelsea assign him yeah Chelsea abon home model to me assign anything he's a new player in the setup I feel no adapted I want to see how he's going to fit into the Xabi Alonso setup na me adoma Wednesday omo match na was Sydney no person me hu said the ABC akọ I have my eyes on him. Then Mamadou Sarr, one of the most underrated young players at what Chelsea squad he is 6.4 feet tall. He's very good. He has aerial abilities. His tackling is good. His positioning is solid. He is able to pass from the back. I like him so much. I want to see what he has to for the team. Tayo Subulai, and also academy center back on also Akwako PM team. No, I feel by Infinua, Dario Esugo. On the Chelsea sign, Dario Esugo said, Omra Mbeye player and the Moises Caicedo, ne backup. But unfortunately, injury. Edge Branton in the season, last season. He's one person I'm really looking forward to. I want to see him play. I want to see how he's going to play. And so I'm even expecting that if he is fit, he should start this game for us to see the way he plays and the kind of game that he adds to the Chelsea team. So what I say. Now, me Romeo Lavia. This is one player I love so much. I mean, only God knows how much I love Romeo Lavia. So it's good to see him fit and joining the preseason. I just hope Romeo Lavia can have one complete season in the Premier League. Na Monshadi, no bia and Shadi, improving Chobia. I said this boy is solid. I've said something that Minyung Obia what Manchester City Academy ni bia. Born onimbo. even Liam Delap cra ye hu dio ye we Ipswich Town Chelsea no went to Miambo Manchester City Academy no players quality kind of materials or mo produce no ano den and academy players Madi Nicole Jazuli and Reggie Walsh and Reggie Watson previous match no or move bench ebenya kakra boy oba animu ho a Liam Delap Jamie Gittins Ryan Kavuna McQueen or your academy boy I like him so much Omari Kellyman Cole Palmer Joao Pedro Dustin Satpiev and Papa and Edin so de Esteval Williams and so ewo. These are the players on Makako PM ewo Australia or more ever start Chelsea preseason no and they ama Chelsea and so ewo. PSG Arsenal and Man City ebo ramu RB Leipzig. They inquired about young Diomande. Look, the young man has had a fantastic World Cup. He's had a great World Cup. World Cup, the born or boy, and we convinced you again as a born winning ball, and he's ready to play in big clubs. Now, Jose Mourinho, I request to say, up the players or more speed on the squad. He wants pacey players. Now, the trick is that Real Madrid. In fact, Arsenal and Man City koyan Diomande ho mo ko bisa mu. But mo say the entokwa ni si kona, I don't think Arsenal will have that money to spend. But Arsenal Jama Leandro Trossard akwane they need to sign somebody. They need to sign somebody because we all know that the Arsenal team would look like Madueke and Saka on the right. Nasayewo Gabriel Jesus and Victor Gyökeres ewe animu. Over left side you'll be left with Gabriel Martinelli and to some extent Ebere Chieze. What is it? And no be short to one fini because Oba Infinia Martin Odegaard newer. Unless you go and bring Ethan Nwaneri, you need Eze to support in the middle. So what is it? So it is still not complete to leave it that way. And the Eze should support in the middle. Then you find a new winger. And into Amuru Muzo Omukwa Kubiza Yan Diomande Honsem. Omukwa no. The staggering price, asking price no. And the Omuntu Minjina no cry negotiating with some bit matter. Into matron more. Money sitting in our matron more. Now Abrante and Paris Saint-Germain I didn't come with ye papa. The any area name is Paris Saint-Germain bet time 120 million euros. No, they are RB Leipzig. But among BD and in the Real Madrid funds also building 90 million euros plus 10 million add-ons. So, do you know what I think? It will be rejected. They will definitely reject Real Madrid bid now. But the trick here is that player not per Real Madrid above. The young man wants to play for Real Madrid, and so it is becoming unclear what is really happening, the direction the team is going, the direction the player is going, and we do not know what is holding Paris Saint-Germain from bidding because we thought somewhere we need player Nery. But it should also remind you that after Luis Enrique Ba Paris Saint-Germain no. That excessive price and now no market no omojai. The only player I make kaipan say omodi sikakesi ekoton 72 million was Visha Varaskea. That was in January. Namoko found 72 million from Napoli, and even for him he was fully worth the amount. There's a auto Visha Varaskea at 72. Now the Wokoto Yan Diomande 120 million euros. I mean, you think twice about it. But PSG is in trouble now because there's all my tone. Papa Nidinde Ramos, Goncalo Ramos. Almost near Tonkan Lee. And so and so they need to beef the team up with more than two players. Let's not forget they need to sign a proper right back because Achraf Hakimi is the only proper right back in the team. Oprea Warenza, Rene, Joao Neves, and the Kokobo right back. And they need to sign a proper right back. Omunye. Canning Lee supporto right ne kakra enti Desiree Due ene Ibrahim Baye nebo but emuye de ane de Canning Lee abebo bi Canning Lee babe supporto amfini ne kakra because say amfini no said the maka no Warren Zaire Mrene John Neves kokobo right back abonsa amfini na babe da Fabian Ruiz pra ubonsa abeka Vitinha aha to benya Vitinha then one of yemfa ne say John Neves near the Canyon Lee ababe ka sometimes na academy boy njanto aba be shim but Canyon Lee has been very instrumental. I was a PSG team replacing no omone Magnus Akleoche enwie ye omuntimi kan wie ye nti letting the young Diomande deal slip is also a problem. But like I told you, Arsenal, all of these Daniel Mayer was are connected. Arsenal also replace put be the best left wing no. Now Omo was there after June ending year July July yiba na wie. Vinicius Junior is entering his last season. His last year on his contract. And inti Omo explore say after sa year no bia no be free. The Real Madrid for a sharp pa na some person cash out was almost ton abrante no. Besides, I don't know, say after Mbappe buy a poster boy in Semnes and Romano, Kofoko Okra be cast a look, both Vinicius ne Mbappe intimate boy in one team. There was a turn back, a jabako, kwana back, take you over. All of a sudden, you name the SC. Real Madrid the Rams almost compare yan Diomande. Yes, we name Real Madrid anymore than Kahoe choked. And indeed, we are hearing that it is possible. Said Vinicius Junior would want to move away from Real Madrid. And into Arsenal, ebisa yan Diomande hono omotwe omohono. My fast air co Vinicius Junior who akwa did in common. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much. This has been ASK Morgan.